Hello, everyone. We are doing a presentation over Chapter 6, Remarkable Leaders Communicate Powerfully. My name is Julia Okongwu, and we have two other stakeholders with us, Ms. Carla and Aaron. And here are my group members.
Hi, I'm
Thomas
Wendy.
McAvoy.
Sorry. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hi, and I'm Thomas McAvoy.
You
All
can
right.
go.
And I'm Wendy Etter, and we are excited to tell you about ways to communicate powerfully as leaders.
This slide just shows a remarkable leadership. This is where we got our information from, which was from Kevin Eckenberry, just about our communicate powerfully. It was in Chapter 6. Our objectives of this PowerPoint presentation is about communication. Our objectives is just give an overview of how we can just form a better communication to powerfully embody our group, the importance of communication, communication styles, value of stories, presenting to the groups, and then we'll also have an activity and a closing. Communication is about connecting, whether it's the expectation, your vision, goals, communicate important points, strategies, dialogue, goals. You all have to have these just things about so you could be able to communicate effectively. This is a self-assessment, and Wendy will explain this.
Okay, so before you get started, just think through on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being almost never, 4 being sometimes right in the middle, and then 7 being almost always. The first level is I understand the differences in communication styles. The next is I adjust my communication style to meet the needs of the other person. I communicate clearly and concisely. I use stories as a way to communicate more effectively. I am a confident presenter, and I present in groups effectively. So just keep this self-assessment in mind as we go through the presentation to see what you already know and what you can grow and learn from this presentation.
Nice, Wendy. So our first communication style is the classic communication. It's for thinkers that as a thinker, they love the data, logic, and structured problem-solving process. A feeler in the group is someone who connect mostly to emotions and thoughts. A doer is they value action, achievement, and progress. An imaginer relies on imagination and the ability to see the bigger picture. And I will go into in depth each style. A thinker is someone who wants the facts and detail. They want a visual of it. Be prepared, have details, share the plan, provide valid points. They want you to speak slow. Allow thinkers to reflect and allow thinkers to weigh their ideas. They just want to be able to get all the information and then being able to have time to think it through. A filler of the group prefers a formal and personal approach. They like to have personal greetings. They like to get that feel of their group members. They respond to thoughts of the collaboration. They prefer to spend more time intimate connection. They like that intimate feel. They want to feel their group members, what their group members are feeling. They're willing to share. They want you to be willing to share why your ideas are important to you. They want to know, why does it matter to you? A doer is someone who wants to be prepared. They like to move quickly, be assertive, focuses on taking action, making progress, love getting to the bottom of the line, and they are confident. They don't want to go through just a whole mechanism of just over and over. They want to get to the point. They want you to have progress in what you're doing and just get to the bottom line of whatever that idea is, the goal, and be confident in what you're doing. An imaginary person like to hear concepts and big pictures. They like the visual. They're huge on the visual of things. They also want to contribute, receive their ideas early. They want to receive the ideas early so they can see it through. You want them to, they want to allow themselves to see the connection to the plan. They got to be able to see what is connected through. Be willing to use your ideas at the beginning of the brainstorm. Once again, they want to see it through before you start planning and presenting everything. They love receiving multiple different options. They want to see every person's option to have one formal option at the end. Out of all of these styles, communicating with each style, just all together, summary wise, requires communicating in a way that feels less comfortable to you, requires focusing more on the other person to create a better communication method. They want you to be prepared, be confident in what you're doing, be open, be ready to prove your approach. My next person is Thomas, and he will explain his slides.
My section is stories. Stories are known to be very powerful. They have great meaning. Examples are storytelling. Stories are a natural part of our conversation. They can be helpful in remembering things. Stories are also many things. They're fable, parable, myths, novels, movies. They can be legend, hearsay, personal experience, gossip, as well as folklore. There are several types of stories. There are official stories, invented or adapted stories, first-hand experimental stories, second-hand stories, and lastly, culturally common stories. Official stories. Official stories have been sanitized for public or organizational consumptions. They are often told by institutions such as government, schools, and bosses. They build stronger connections and are more powerful in making the story seem real. Next, we have invented or adapted stories. They are made up and adapted from other experiences, and they are stories more than they are created. They don't always have a point. They become richer and more detailed over multiple telling, and fables often fall in the category. Next, first-hand experimental stories. These are stories about things that happen to us personally. They are stories that are powerful for leaders because they can be coached and mentored to others. They are the best stories because of the experiences, and they are more instructive and more memorable because they are told by the storyteller's own experiences. Secondhand stories. These are stories of others that's told by someone else. They are easier to tell because they mostly rely on one's ability to recall facts in the correct order. They are brief and focused on points to be made, and the points are made to create the structure of this type of story. Culturally common stories. They are not as obvious a category as the other four. They come from the environment. They are not told, they are not made up. However, they are pervasive and they define the way things are done. Culturally common stories give clues about an organization and its beliefs. They are stories that are observed from just being around one's job, just about the culture of how things are done. Making your stories powerful. There are four specific ways to make your story powerful. First, you must be brief and to the point. Second, be vivid. You must include action. All stories with actions are loved by others, especially movies. You want to make a point or create a dialogue when making your story powerful. Next, we will have our group member Wendy speaking on presentations.
All right. I'm going to start on presentations, which you're watching a presentation. So this is going to wrap up a great way to communicate powerfully in the 21st century, whether you're in a classroom or in a business. It gives your audience a clear what. They can see the outcomes. They can feel what do you want them to know, do, or feel, and what do you want? Do you want the people to back you, buy into your idea, or change what they are doing? And then we're going to talk about how you need to close with an action. But more than just giving them a what, you need to give them a why. Presentations are something that leaders have to do to communicate powerfully. Some love to do it, some hate doing it, but it is a must for a leader in order to communicate and get their followers to complete the task at hand. So the golden key here is getting your audience to understand the WIIFM, the golden key. What's in it for me? Every listener is determining the benefit to themselves. Don't assume the benefits are obvious. You are the experts who provide clear benefits. Ask the audience to share thoughts during the presentation. So I'm going to pause right now. Audience members, Carla and Aaron, do y'all have any questions about our presentation at this point?
No, not yet.
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we're going to go on now and look at the different parts of the presentation. You want to open with impact. It's very important to get people's attention. So I teach in my English classes to have a hook, prepare them to listen. And sometimes you can use a little bit of humor or a prop along with that. You'll be successful when you set the context, state your objective, and provide a what's in it for me, for the audience. You can use a story like Thomas talked about, all of his different types of stories to hook in the audience. You can ask a thought-provoking question, or you can use a prop.
I like that.
And then you want to close with action for the audience. You don't want to just leave them with they viewed a PowerPoint and that's the end. You want to give them something to do going forward. In order to close well, you want the R's for success. The leader needs to remind, repeat, and reach, and the audience needs to be able to retain and be ready for action. There are two critical mistakes. Do not, at this point in your presentation, present new information or host a question and answer session. That could be a time where you just have crickets, or you have audience members who ask questions about things that aren't exactly the point that you were trying to make. What if you leave out information? Only go back if necessary, because this is the point where you could lose your audience's attention. Invite questions at any point in the presentation. And then finally, the meat of your message should be the body of your presentation. You need data, research, background, reasoning, and logic. The opening and closing is the most important part. Remarkable leaders know that the initial planning, opening, and closing are what makes presentations remarkably powerful. That is a quote directly from Kevin Eckenberry. Presenter, be sure you write down desired outcomes, identify your what's in it for me, and reflect on your success. Audience members, when you're viewing a presentation, take notes on desired outcomes, assess the success of the presenter, and determine what could have been done differently, and apply to your next presentation. Communication is the transfer of emotion. That is what we want to do when we connect to our audience. We want to connect the emotion of why we're communicating so that they will be called to action.
All right, so the bulk of this summary that comes from me, Thomas, and Miss Wendy is communication is a powerful tool that can be mastered in various ways. A powerful leader must set the tone by creating a connection between those who are within a communication group while forming a community that is based on a common meaning. Everyone has a role in group meetings or decisions for different interpretation of the assignment or goal. This presentation informs the audience that the best way to create common meaning and build connections is through listening, thinking about the other person, and finding ways to ensure others receive the message. Now we're going to do the Kahoot, which is going to be provided by Miss Wendy.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen and start this Kahoot. And just anybody that's on, presenters or stakeholders, if y'all would like to join. Oops, wrong button. A short review.
I can't get it to open for me.
Oh, because you're on your phone on the Zoom. Okay.
So am I.
Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and start it so you can see it.
I can see it on mine, Wendy.
Can you?
Yeah,
Can
we
you-
can see it on
Me
ours.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first question is, in which area do you need to most improvement?
Is it showing the Zoom? The
Yes,
Kahoot?
it's showing the Kahoot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, here, I got it right here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. In
Yes.
which area do you need the most improvement? So you would just choose multiple choice. And the answer would be, anybody want to give the answer?
Understanding the difference in communication styles.
Okay. So this is just a poll from your self-assessment. So it's going to be different between each
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was wondering about that. I would definitely say using stories as a way to communicate more effectively for me.
Yeah, for me, because of mine, I would go with adjusting my communication style to meet the needs of the other person, because that was just in mine.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, it would be understanding the differences in communication styles, because I think we get so focused on how we receive and take out information that we forget other people might need something different.
Yeah, that's good.
Very good. So we all have something a little bit different that we need to work on. Next, what do you not want to do at the end of your presentation?
Ask questions.
Yes,
No. Yeah, is that correct? Mhm.
that's the correct answer. Very
Good,
good.
Carla.
Thank you.
All right. True or false? Stories are a powerful tool to connect with your audience.
Yes.
True.
True.
And then we'll bring us back to the beginning. What is your communication style?
Wendy, I'm a doer.
Yes, you are a doer.
I'm
I feel
a
like
definite filler.
a feeler.
Mhm.
I'm a thinker. I have to see it through.
I think I'm
I'm definitely
an
a doer.
Imagineer. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Thomas.
I'm definitely a doer.
Doer. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing and go back into the presentation now.
All right. And I will share back my screen. All right, and that will conclude our presentation. We want to thank Ms. Carla and Ms. Erin for joining us in this presentation. And are there any questions or concerns? I know on the handout, you can write notes and you could just give feedback. It has our emails, mine, Wendy, and Thomas, if you have any questions, concern, or even ideas. And we want to thank you both for joining in.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
the invite.
Thank
Yes, Sam, y'all just